day today? Are you energized? Are you happy? I hope so. I'm Laurie Bates, and I am with Create Better Health Snap Ed program. And I'm here to teach you about my plate, okay? And a lot of things go into my plate, including muffins. And we're going to be doing lemon blueberry muffin today. So get your thinking caps on, your chef hats, and your aprons, and let's get started. Muffins can be a yummy part of our healthy diet, especially when you can add nutrient-dense foods, meaning things like blueberries, yogurt, whole grains to it. We can also freeze them, which is even more awesome, because then we can have them now and we can have them later. And sometimes we can't eat 12 muffins, right? So it's good that we can do that. So we would first bake them and then cool the muffins completely and then put them into like a freezer-safe plastic bag or container. Making sure to not overstuff the bag because then they get all smashed and sticking together. Okay, and when you want to defrost them, you can just do two things. You can just set them on the counter the night before you need them. Before you go to school, you can just grab them. And then the other way is just put them in the microwave for about 30 seconds and get them all nice and toasty warm. 3 months. You can keep them in the freezer for 3 months. Are you ready to see how to make some lemon coconut blueberry muffins? Well, let's get started, shall we? All right. So when you're using flour, you can use the kind of flour that you have. You don't really have to go to the store unless you don't have any. But the recipe calls for 3/4 cup of white whole wheat flour, which I have today. And then the other part is white flour. The reason why we do half and half, just like my plate, we need to eat half grains that are whole and half that are refined, right? So if you're eating 5 or 6 ounces of grains, you're talking about, 2.5 to 3 ounces of whole grain and then 2 to 3.5 ounces of refined. And then we're going to need some sugar, and you could use any kind of sugar that you would like. You could use honey or white sugar, a sugar substitute. All goes very well. And then we're going to need some baking powder, which I have in my little container here, and measuring spoons. You're going to need some of those, and a whisk, and a wooden spoon, maybe a scraper, a liquid measurer, okay? And then we're going to need some salt, a half a teaspoon of salt, 4 tablespoons of oil, and then some Greek yogurt. You could do lemon, plain, anything that you would like, any flavor would be okay. 2/3 cup of buttermilk, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, some lemon zest, 1 egg, 1/4 cup of flaked coconut, 1 cup of blueberries, and then if you want to put some nuts in there, 1/3 cup. We're going to tie our hair back, put our apron on, wash our hands. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start doing our liquids in our bowl. So let's put our yogurt. I'm just going to put that yogurt, and if you can, put your items room temperature, because they will raise better if they're at room temperature. And don't have it on the counter very long, because the food safety rule is to not keep things past the 2 hours, right? So really, really important. Okay, so get our yogurt in there. And yogurt helps give us some protein, and it also helps with flavor and the rising of the muffin. Okay, and then get your liquid measuring cup, find 2/3 on it. It's right there. Do you see that? And then get a level surface, which this is. And then we're going to measure some buttermilk out. Let's see what we got here. And you could make your own buttermilk if you want to by putting 1 cup of milk with 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And then go ahead and look down here. Well, that's on a level thing. A level table. And, oh, wow, I'm right there. Okay. So, then we're going to put that in our bowl. So 1 tablespoon lemon juice to 1 cup of milk. Okay. And then you'll need to let that sit for about 5 minutes and get it kind of curdly. It'll get kind of curdly. And that's what makes that buttermilk. Okay. And then add it to your muffins. 4 tablespoons of canola oil or olive oil or vegetable oil. Any of those will work. So that's 3. And, 4. How about that? Okay. Then we're going to mix our egg in. And I wanted to show you, I'm going to put this back down here, how to crack this egg really quick in case you've not done it before. Take your egg in your finger like this. Your thumb on one side, your fingers on the other side of this, okay? Then you're going to hit it against the bowl in the center. So right here in the middle. So, ready? Not really hard though. If you go too hard, it's going to go all the way through and it's going to be all over your hand. Okay? So, ready? Here we go. Crack. Just a little bit. You see that's got a little bit of a crack in there? And then take your thumbs, make a little bit so you can get it into the shell itself. And then separate it just like that. And then when you do that, make sure you wash your hands because eggs can cross-contaminate with other types of foods. You want to make sure your hands are nice and clean from bacteria. Okay? Our egg. And then, you know what? Let's go ahead and break that yolk up a little bit so that it will mix easier. A whole yolk doesn't mix as easy as if you break it up. Okay, here we go. And then we're just going to put that egg right in there. And then we have some sudsy water going over there, right? Warm water, not cold. Okay, a whisk. And we're just going to mix that, whisk that till it's all combined. Look how beautiful that is. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and do our lemon. Isn't that a pretty lemon? This is called a planter or a grater. You can use these to get the zest off of your lemon, or you could use a regular grater. Let me show you what that looks like. You could use this regular grater, and what I would do, because that grating part right here doesn't work very well, I would use this next smallest one and then just kind of go down like that on it, and then you'd have to go inside to get the zest because it sticks on the wall. Okay? I'm just going to use this today, and if you don't have one at home, maybe you could talk to mom and dad or your adult supervisor and see if you could maybe get one. They are really nice. They're nice to do like ginger and limes and lemons and oranges, garlic even. So they're really nice, but they're very sharp. So be really, really, really careful when you are going around the item that you're zesting, okay? Because you don't want to get your fingers zested. It hurts. I don't know what it is. I think it's a jagged cut that makes it hurt so bad, but I talk from experience. But that's okay. All right, so get all your lemon in there. See all that lemon zest in there? That's what we want, but we don't want the white part. So don't go that far down. And I have something called a juicer. It looks like this. See that? That's kind of like a juicer. Well, it is a juicer. And I got a table knife. I'm just gonna cut my lemon in half. You could also use lime if you wanted, or an orange, and make orange muffins instead. That'd be cool. Okay, so you put it in upside down, just like that. Okay. Tablespoon of lemon juice. And most lemons have about 2 tablespoons in them, so I'm just going to do half. Okay. And then this will keep your seeds and everything intact, which is nice. That's really nice. Okay. Pretty much juice. So I'm just going to use the other half of that. Okay. Take our whisk again. We're going to whisk that around. And then you can put your dry ingredients all together, but I'm just going to put my sugar in here. You could use honey or whatever you would like. Okay. All right. And then let's do our flour. I already measured the flour, but I wanted to show you how to do it really quick. And how you measure flour is you just get your flour in a bowl and then take a spoon and spoon it into your 1 cup measuring cup. Just spoon it nice and light, okay, like this. And then you can take this and just scoot it and level it right off, okay? And then that's 1 cup. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And baking powder is going to help it, and you can level that off too if you want. Right back into the jar. So 1, 2. Baking in a half. I think it said a half. So let's do the half. Okay, so baking powder helps it rise and get higher and fluffier and lighter. Okay, so that's important too. We're just going to mix that into our 1/2 cup that's already in here. Okay, put that in there. Mix it up just like that. Just kind of blend the two together so that it's well mixed together. Into your sink and get yourself your dishcloth and clean up your mess so that you don't have a huge mess when you get done. Okay, good. Get that done. All right, so bring your bowl back into play here. And we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to kind of put half in and use my wooden spoon. The whisk does really good for liquids, but it's not great with the flour. It starts to get into the wires, and then it's hard to sometimes get that out. Okay, so just go ahead and add that. And then just mix that just till it's barely mixed, okay? And you might have a couple of lumps and stuff, and that's okay. So that's about what it looks like, kind of like a cupcake type of mix. And then I'm going to put some coconut, okay, next. And you don't have to put coconut if you don't like coconut. You don't have to add it. And if you do like coconut, you could add a little bit more even if you wanted. So 1/4 cup of coconut, and then a cup of blueberries, either frozen You can even use dried if you wanted. You got your blueberries. Isn't that beautiful? That's so pretty. You're going to take your spoon and you're just going to go over the top, and around, okay? That's called folding because we don't want to break those blueberries up. And then take your spatula or your rubber scraper and clean it off your spoon because you are ready to rock and roll here. Okay. You're going to get a muffin tin like this. It's going to make 12, so this is 12. And make sure you get a hot pad. That's important when you're dealing with the oven, right? Put one hot pad here and then put another hot pad here. And then we'll take our pan, put it in the oven, and then also we will do the same thing when we take it out. Okay? All right. Then if you have an ice cream scoop, that would work to do the scooping, but I don't have a big enough one, so I'm going to use a 1/4 cup and not fill it all the way. And then I'm just going to put that right in there. See, I'm going to show you here in a minute. It's not full all the way, but that's about what it should look like that. Okay. If you go too high, it goes way too high over the pan. It's going to go over the pan a little bit, which we want. Okay, so get those all filled, and then we're going to put our toppings on. And if you have batter left over, we'll just put some in the other ones. Make sure we got them all filled and ready to go. Berries. Do you guys like blueberries? They are so good for you. And did you know that, have you ever looked on the other side of a blueberry? There's a little star on the other side. I'll show you here in a second. Just like that, to where it's not all the way full, but full enough. And it looks like I've got a couple here that could use just a little bit, maybe more. Try to make them as even as you can so that they bake even. When they're all cooking at the same time, they need to be as close to being like each other as you can. And take blueberry. I wanted to show you. Let me get you one that there it is. Can you see that? It's got a little star on the other side of it. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so then you can put, 2 or 3 blueberries on top, and it's really pretty. Sometimes they'll bust and the juice will go all over your muffin and make it like a painting. Have you ever done watercoloring before? It kind of looks like that. It's got juice that runs down the sides and over the top. It's just beautiful. Of course, purple's a pretty color. Really pretty color. Okay. So about, like I said, 2 or 3 blueberries is great. Go ahead and put those on right now on the top. I'm going to do half and half because maybe someone can't have nuts or they don't want nuts. And you really shouldn't cook them together if they're allergic to nuts. Don't cook them together. Make sure they're done separate because we don't want to make anyone sick or have to go to the hospital. Okay? Okay, that's it. And then you're going to already have your oven going. Aren't those pretty? Pretty. Okay? At 400 degrees. And you're going to put these in for about 15 to 17 minutes. And here is your muffin. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Let's talk about grains. We talked about it a little bit in the very beginning so that we could tell you about our recipe, but let's go a little bit more into detail, shall we? So what foods are in the grain group? Well, we've got some as an example right here. And these are just a few that I had around in my house. But I wanted to show you, this is cereal. It's shredded wheat cereal with just a little teeny bit of sugar on top. You see how it's kind of a little frosted? I like to put these in baggies and just kind of snack on them instead of maybe chips or something. They are a hand-to-mouth type of snack, which is nice. We all, at least I do, like to have that. But this is a cup, so I wanted you to see what a cup looked like in a regular bowl. It doesn't fill your bowl all the way up. It goes about halfway, okay? That's one serving. So if you had 2 cups, you would have 2 servings. And we need 5 to 6 servings every day. But we need mixed grains, okay? For example, we could have this in the morning, and then at lunch we could have a whole wheat sandwich. But if we have 1 piece of bread, that's 1 serving. But if we have 2 for a sandwich, that would be 2. So we had 1 serving for breakfast, and we had 2 for lunch. So we've got 3 already, okay? And then for dinner, if we have 1 taco and it's got a corn tortilla, that counts as 1 serving. So we have 2, 3, 4, but if we want another one, that will make 5, and then we're done for the day. And then we start again in the morning. Maybe we could have an egg McMuffin. But a muffin, you split it in half, right? Like this. I love muffins. Do you guys like muffins? This is a whole wheat muffin, and you split it, right? This is 1 serving. This is 2 servings. So in the morning when you put your egg and your bacon and or whatever, ham or turkey, and then you could put avocado, you could put spinach, cheese, and then you put the other top on it. That's 2. Okay, that's 2 servings. And then you are starting again. If you're going to have a muffin, that'd be 1 serving. Okay? So those are just some ideas to get you thinking about grains. Okay? Any grain that's made of like wheat or rice or oats or cornmeal, barley, or other cereal type grains is a grain product. Bread, pasta, breakfast cereals, grits. Do you guys like grits? I love polenta. I just love it. They have white grits and they have yellow. So either kind. Tortillas are an example of a grain. We talked about that. A white flour tortilla, a wheat flour tortilla, a spinach, or a corn. Either would work. And then foods such as popcorn, rice, and oatmeal, of course, are also included. So why is it important that we eat grains? What do you think? Huh? So important. Be thinking. If you want, put your answer in the comments. Or if you love grains, push I love, because I would be doing that. Okay, eating grains is important health benefits. It helps to keep diseases from our body, which is really, really important. But it also helps our digestive and our stomach intestine area. It goes in and it cleans and keeps everything nice and tidy, just like we did our table. You know how we washed it down and made sure it was all clean? That's what grains and fiber do. Fiber is just a word for what's inside the grain that is left over and cannot be digested by your stomach. And then it is eliminated at the end of the day. So it doesn't get absorbed by your body. It just goes in, cleans up, and then goes out. Okay, so what counts we talked about that a little bit. But the one thing that I didn't talk about was rice, and you need a half a cup of rice and a half a cup of pasta, okay? Oh, cooked cereal too, oatmeal. Do you guys like oatmeal? What about cream of wheat? You would do a half a cup of that too. That's considered 1 ounce or 1 serving. A few seconds. This is what wheat looks like when it's in the field and it's dried. This is a dried wheat. And do you see those little pods on there? The wheat kernel is inside there. This is what wheat looks like. Okay. Here's some oats, like oatmeal. Here's some barley. You'll find that in soup, sometimes porridge. Okay. Here's some popcorn. I bet you know what that looks like. I know, I love popcorn. It's another hand-to-mouth thing, right? And then rice. That looks very similar to whole wheat, right? Pretty cool. I wanted to show you, this is a blown up, a way big blown up kernel, okay? And when we're talking refined grains or white flour, that type of thing, we are talking about, they've taken the bran off. This is called the bran. They've taken off the germ. And then it's left with something called endosperm, okay? And that's the white flour that we get for like our muffins and cakes and stuff. But they also will sometimes add vitamins to it, which is called enriched. That means that they took it out, and then they put it back in after they've processed or heated it up, okay? Now whole grains, they have the endosperm, and they have the bran, and they have the germ. And the germ has your omega oils and things like that, and the bran has fiber and some, maybe even some vitamin B's in that. So what makes a grain whole is when it's all the way whole. Nothing's been taken away from it. So I hope that you'll remember to try and do half and half of your grains every day. So half whole, half white, okay? Or refined, right? Or enriched, that would be good too. And make sure that you see on your labels, start looking at your labels and say, find the ingredients on the label for like here's the label, see that? And do you see where the ingredient section is down below? Like, it's right here in this area. That is where you're going to find whether or not it's a whole wheat, oats, that type of thing. It'll be the first thing on there. And that means if it's the first one after the name ingredients, it means it's got the most in that product. So like bread, it would have flour first because bread always has a lot of flour, right? I hope that you are going out to exercise and that you are enjoying your winter. Let's, on good days, ride your bikes. On good days and bad days, let's go for walks. Get bundled up so you're not cold. And if you are a runner, go out and run. That is so good for you. It gets your heart just a beating. Have you ever ran a block or two and your heart is just going boom, 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 and you can feel it? Well, that's a good thing. That's called aerobic exercise, and you need to do that. So keep it up. Do your skateboards. Walk to school and from school if it's okay with your mom and dad or your grandma and grandpa or whoever's taking care of you. Do some, during a commercial, move, okay? Just kind of go like this and move your body, twist. Go like this and move your arms and just keep your body moving. It likes it, it's good for it, and it's so, so important. So you want 1 hour every day. And that doesn't have to be a whole hour at once. You could do 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, a half hour there, and then you've got an hour, right? Because 15 and 15 is 30, and then another 30 is 60, which is an hour. Okay, so makes sense, right? Thank you for coming on and learning about grains today. I hope you enjoy your muffins. This is Laurie Bates, from my home to yours. Bye now.